Hello, Aries. So I decided to do a reading for you today, and at first I was like, you know what, I don't think I'm going to try to record it. And then I thought, you know what, I've been seeing that a lot of the messages and downloads I've been getting, and I know other Aries have been getting around this time as well, has been to just kind of go all in. If you want to start a new project, start a new endeavor, even something that's just a genuine interest of yours that you want to experiment with, just to see what it's like, to just go ahead and jump in, just give it a try. So if any of you are experiencing something similar, I recommend just jumping all in. Alright, so anyway. So this is a reading for the Aries, Sun, Moon, and Rising signs. Read to you by Aries myself. And I approached this reading tonight with Witch's Tarot, with True Heart Intuitive Tarot, and then finish off with an Animal Spirit card. And I'll just discuss the cards as I went through the reading, okay? So we started off here to look at what to anticipate or what to keep our eye on for the week coming up, right? So the week of July 28th, all right? First card came out, it's the Ten of Wands. Second was the Knight of Wands. Right after that came the Moon in reverse. And after that, the Chariot upright. Alright. So, the energy of this story, of what to, keep an eye on, look out for the future, for this upcoming week, right, is that you've probably felt very burdened by either a lot of work, whether this is self-inflicted, right, where you kind of understand that you have a lot of responsibilities, but you tend to add more and more and more to your plate, that it's starting to affect you differently than it has in the past. Like you're getting closer to your own limit, right? So you just may feel a little bit overwhelmed. You may feel like you struggle with getting focused, right? Spending focused time working on your many projects. So this is, of course, as a card, like, look for this, like, feeling exhausted. Don't ignore it. Don't sweep it under the rug, as it were. Really try to spend the time, right? Give yourself some time to just move around a little bit, take little breaks. It doesn't have to be anything major, but that's what Spirit's trying to warn you about and provide a little bit of guidance on how to counterbalance that situation. Then we have Knight of Wands, and it looks like somebody's on their way in. They want to talk to you, and they are pretty serious about it. Here we see the wand, of course, is up in the air, communicating communication, as it were. The horse is reared up, right? So on its hind legs, meaning it's basically using most of its power, right? And charging forward, right? But here we see the knight atop of it, atop the horse. Looks very stern, very serious, ready to communicate, has a message ready, right? Has a message ready. Then came the Moon in reverse. And of course, this to me relates to the Knight of Wands. The message that's coming is the secret that's being revealed. And maybe secret sounds a little bit too strong, but just a bit of information that might be new to you. Okay. And then the last card of what to keep in mind for the week of July 28th is the Chariot. Okay, so whoever's coming in is coming in with something that they find to be significant, or you're about to make some serious changes that's really going to propel you forward. Whether that's personally, like if you have personal goals, hobbies, interests that you're getting into, or professionally, or both, right? Like we were saying, or I was saying at the beginning of this video, that you're trying to jump into new endeavors right now. It's a great time, and to do so, to at least put yourself out there and see what happens. Why not, right? And it looks like having the Chariot to help guide you, or as a heads up of what might result. I mean, that doesn't seem too risky to me. So go ahead. And now we will continue with the next segment, I suppose that I did. So I just asked for clarification, right? And this is when I used Rachel True's intuitive deck. And I find this deck to be kind of difficult to shuffle. It just is a bit difficult, just for me. So I do end up just intuitively deciding when to stop shuffling, and then I just pick the cards off the top. Interesting. Okay, Five of Cups in reverse is on the bottom. So I first start off with the Ten of Wands, asking for clarification. Start off with the Prince of Cups in reverse, followed by the Ten of Swords in reverse, followed by the Sun in reverse. So the narrative, or the story that this tells me, the vibe that inspired for me, is that somebody clearly has something that they want to see. Here, upright, in comparison to the Knight of Wands here, so who's kind of rushing in, like I mentioned earlier. This horse looks like it's on a fair trot, okay? It's not the slowest of the princes, so a message that's on the way to be delivered, but it's coming at or perhaps up till now, you've been anticipating that somebody's on the way, and you're just kind of wondering, trying to prepare yourself for when they do actually arrive. In the background of this, we see an ocean. We see some tentacles coming out. We also see waves, so it's almost like parting. It's almost like parting the sea. And the prince is kind of entering through this doorway. The prince and the horse. Seems like it's coming out of danger and coming into the now, right? Overcoming obstacles. And in the reverse, maybe this phase of this approach is coming to a close and might be leveling up to this Knight of Wands energy. Then the Ten of Swords again came in reverse. So upright would be would communicate the end of a cycle, feeling overly burdened, right? So Ten of Swords, Ten of Wands, I mean, relating to itself, obviously, coming out twice from different decks. And the fact that it's coming in reverse is that, again, this cycle is coming to a close. You will find new balance if that's something you've been focusing on, and if you have not been trying to focus on how to help realign yourself and bring yourself back into balance, I would recommend just spending time working with your schedule. Right, like take down a piece of paper, or on a piece of paper, take down your list of all your to-do items, then prioritize them, and then organize them to your calendar. Okay. I recently watched a webinar from it's called Faculty Diversity. It's a program, and that the workshop sort of went through the process of doing that, but essentially, like, my Cliff's Notes version is what is recommended. Okay. All right, and that may help you really bring that cycle to a close, where that Ten of Wands vibe cycles out. And then we have the Sun in reverse. So it might be that you've lost a bit of hope, particularly if you've been thinking about this potential King of Cups and not knowing when they're going to arrive. So the Sun in reverse may communicate, instead of like all is well, like you're happy, maybe you had some doubts, like your optimism was dimmed a little bit recently. So that may also, or perhaps all the pressure, all the tension, all the stress has manifested also through your worldview. Like it might have been a challenging time to hold on to your optimism, if that makes sense. Okay. All right. Well, for the third row, right center row, clarifying the moon reversed, we also got 3 cards, and also these 2 central rows, they fell out in threes, which was beautiful, right? Very convenient for me. You got the Six of Cups upright, the Princess of Cups, and the Hangman in reverse. Okay, so what this is clarifying to me, again, the moon reverse, so what was hidden from you is now being illuminated, brought to your attention, brought to your awareness, right? You are in the know, as it were. Six of Cups upright. It's telling me that somebody from your past coming in also has things to say. Whether this is somebody that you haven't spoken to for a long time. It could be long ago or recently. Just based on this imagery. But my feeling is that they aren't coming with anger. They want to lighten up the mood. They want to lighten up the tension and the vibe between you. They want to lighten the energy. And talk about maybe how good things were, like the good parts of your relationship in the past, before really looking at it as a whole. Okay. So keep that in mind. So again, if I didn't mention it earlier, the Knight of Wands might be somebody from your past coming in, rushing in. And whether that was a long-term relationship, short-term relationship, I mean, you know your story of how involved it is. But it seems like the energy was pretty heavy. So it feels like it was a longer-term relationship. And then the Princess of Cups, right? So having a cup to offer. Whether that's the cup you want or not, only you will know, right? That is up to you. But the other clarifying card is the Hangman in reverse, right? So after, maybe it might be challenging, right, to change your perspective and look at this in a different way. It might be a totally new perspective to you that you didn't even potentially think about before. But also, again, it could be a new beginning. If you both see a way of going to approaching that. Emphasis on collaboration. You guys want to go that way, and I want to emphasize that that would require collaboration. Sorry. Having a conversation in my head. Okay. Well, I guess of course I am. And then clarifying the Chariot, and these clarifying cards, I was shuffling for quite a while, and then I decided to intuitively choose when to pull the top three off the top of the deck. Okay, I don't know, I turned them over. So we have the Nine of Discs in reverse, the High Priestess, and the Ten of Cups, again, clarifying the Chariot. Somebody on the way, right? Ready. Got stuff to say, things to do, things they want to do. Okay, so the Nine of Discs, right? Upright would be wish fulfillment. Maybe somebody views you as their wish fulfillment and they don't want to lose you, right? Maybe they feel like time is running out. Maybe you, if you had reached out to them recently, you might be showing them that this wish is not completely dead, but they just feel like it may just be unlikely. So you might think that time is running out, and so that's why they're rushing a bit. Okay, to share this information. Maybe as soon as possible in the coming days, or this week, again sometime this week. And they are viewing you as the High Priestess, okay? So as their wish fulfillment, being the High Priestess, finding the person, finding the partner that they want, right? Again, as we know, all of the energies are gender neutral, but you being a badass, okay, your badass self, here is what they want, right? You're the bee's knees for them. And they interpret the potential here. And their intention going in, right? Coming in, rushing in to talk to you. because they want to have 10 of Cups life with you. They want to have the 10 of Cups life. This isn't saying they can't actually deliver that. Don't misunderstand. This is what they want. Okay, so depending on the situation in which you all entered, the now, right? Again, and the now could be last week. It could be next week. Whenever you come across this video and you felt inclined to click on it to watch it, okay? Think about the energies, right? Do you feel like you're entering into this? Do you feel like you're in the middle of it? Do you feel like that was the energy that you experienced at least in part last week? Okay. So make it speak to your situation. Okay. Great. Great. And then when I was shuffling for the animal spirits cards, Aries, you got the fish. Okay. And I will read the fish from the book. Of course, but my first thoughts when thinking or when getting the card was, of course, relationship to water. So emotion might be just a generally emotional time, especially if you're experiencing 10 of Wands energy plus somebody else's very intense emotions of the Knight of Wands. Okay, things being revealed, the Chariot, right? A lot of movement, right? So maybe it's all emotionally laced. Okay, whether you want to view it, your fish card as being just the overall energy, or just a general descriptor of what you might be experiencing this week for some of you. Of course, maybe for others you're like, no way. But we shall see. Okay, fish. Keywords and phrases, we have restlessness, change of focus, lost in the current. The fish loves to be subsumed in life's current. Nothing pleases it more than movement, movement, and more movement. The roaming lifestyle of the fish may be exhilarating for a while, but usually leads to weariness and slippery relationships. With all the possibilities out there in the vast waters, the fish becomes lost without clear goals and intentions. And I mentioned that about structure. If you feel like you're lacking some. Okay. Spend some time with the lunar forces, dear fish, as the peace and calm of the moon card in reverse, will soothe your soul. When in balance, okay, you are adaptable and you travel well. So maybe you have travels coming up that you're looking forward to. You might be participating in some of the feelings of stress, right? Things that are just on your plate that you have to work through, make sure you're on top of in preparation for the traveling. Okay, if that resonates with you. When out of balance, you are distracted. You may be changing your mind relatively often. And to bring into balance, right? If you feel like it's out of balance for you, or you have a lot of distraction, you have a really hard time focusing on a specific task, you're always kind of trying to work and work on all of your projects simultaneously, which just leaves you feeling kind of like flighty, right? You're just like here, and then you're there, and you're working on this, and you're checking on this person, right? So if you, if that relates to how you're feeling, to bring this energy back into balance, set a small goal and accomplish it. Okay. For me, I set a small goal for myself recently where I have alarms, of course, for my work week, and my goal is for a week to not press snooze on my first alarm, right? And I started it today. And this morning it went well. So just a small thing like that. Sure, it requires willpower, but it's willpower for a goal that I've set for myself and I have the power to impact. Okay. And then it's also like as soon as I just actually like get up and go brush my teeth or something, I feel like a win for the day is already accomplished. So that's also great. Okay, so I forgot. that after I laid out the cards and I did my initial reading of them, or my initial interpretation, just like how I was reading that narrative, I did write down some notes that I wanted to make sure to share. So, messages from spirit, right? Just some of the downloads that I was getting in response, right? In reflection of all the energies of the cards that I had drawn, right? I just decided to jot down a few things I wanted to share. So don't allow people to come in and distract you from making progress on your own goals. Okay, so we had that prince come, like rushing in, had a lot of things to reveal. There's a lot of excitement. Of course, having the fish is the animal spirit, right? A lot of movement is going on. Don't let all of that movement get in the way of you accomplishing your own goals. Okay, you've been doing a lot of self-work, right? We had that Hermit in reverse card. So you've been working on yourself. So whether that is your partner, right? Maybe they're coming out of hermit mode. They're waiting for you to come out of hermit mode, right? So still that would relate to you, or at least it's the vibe of the card that I continue to have. All right. So it may be that this is the pattern that you keep falling into. All right. While you're in hermit mode, you're probably trying to reflect on some of the tendencies or the ways that you may hold yourself back, or trying to figure out what adjustments you can make that will set yourself up for success, right? So really taking the time to reflect on those things, and in turn, thinking critically about components of your life or things that you may have the tendency to do or have had the tendency to do in the past that you're not interested in keeping in practice now. Right? Things that you want to evolve out of, and saying, okay, I'm not doing that anymore. I am opting to determine to impact how my reality is going to be, and I'm going to be very intentional with what I entertain and what I don't entertain anymore. All right? So, with that in mind, when you are going through, like coming out of this cycle, feeling very overwhelmed, feeling heavily burdened, feeling you have a lot to do, having a hard time being focused, and this person, or maybe you are coming out of that energy, right? Like I mentioned, maybe you're coming out of that energy, you're finally feeling a bit more focused, you have solid ground, or solid footing, right? In terms of turning your plans into actions. And you might be very excited, right? Ready for that, and then all of a sudden this person comes in with all of this drama, all of this stuff to share, all of these emotions that they probably could have shared with you like months ago, right? But all of a sudden it's super important to tell you right now. Okay, so it might be that for you, one of your greatest distractions, one of your cyclical, well, actually, I'll just call it like a tendency, right? It might be like an inadvertent energetic way of how things get in your way, right? It might be that one of the lessons that you need to learn, that Spirit is trying to get you to learn, is that you often opt into distracting yourself with romantic options, right? Because it's entertaining, because it's fun, because it's exciting. Okay? So it might be that you need to learn that lesson. So take some time to reflect on that. When I first wrote it and then reflected on it, I was like, oh shit. Damn. Okay. Fine. You got me. Alright. Like I just mentioned, you've been in hermit mode for quite some time now. But you may not have yet contemplated this, right? As a self-inflicted struggle. Right? It might be just something that you do, but you are not aware that you're doing it, right? Because it's not, addiction sounds too strong. It's like, there's some people who like drama, right? And some people are kind of like melodramatic and like big drama about it. And then there are others like Aries who are just like very fiery, very charged up. They like to have like kind of different things going on that are stimulating, right? Keeping you amused, keeping you entertained, keeping you, I guess, in anticipation that something's always happening, right? That kind of energy, that constant energy. Be mindful if that desire to continue to engage in that type of movement in your life, again, thinking about the fish energy or fish spirit energy, that might be your tendency that gets in your own way. That might be a self-inflicted struggle, a self-inflicted hurdle, right? That's holding you back from really accomplishing the things you want to accomplish for yourself, all right? So don't get in your own way. Try not to get in your own way. I know it's going to be hard because, I don't know, sometimes the tea is just too good, all right? And then maybe try to approach things a little bit differently this time. Like if you are interested in this night that's coming in, maybe just be very generous with how you're approaching the situation, right? So hear them out, let them tell you the drama that they have to tell you, and then give yourself time to reflect on it and reflect on how you would, like what your impulse is to, how would you respond, right, typically speaking, and then think about a different way, right? Like how could you alter this situation so that it works for you and your time, right? Aries invests a lot of time in people and their relationships, right? And the excitement and the drama and the movement that comes in with that, right? So instead, look at your timeline, what it's going to take, what you have to do to accomplish your goals, right? And prioritize that time. So here I have indulge in the experimentation of like how these situations or how these relationships may function. And it may be going against your grain, right? As it were, trying something totally new. But basically, prioritize what it will take to accomplish your own fucking goals. All right? You have accommodated way too many other people so far. So that might be another lesson that Spirit's trying to get you to learn. All right, now I'm really done. All right, thanks for listening, and have a great night, day, afternoon, whenever you see this video. Have a good one. All right, bye.